We are presenting this broadcast to tell you something of the problems concerning the annual summer roundup of preschool children. As our scene opens, we find Mrs. Rounds from the PTA of the Ideal School approaching the home of Mrs. Open Mind.
Good morning. Is this Mrs. Open Mind?
Yes?
I am Mrs. Rounds of the Parent-Teacher Association from the Ideal School. May I come in and talk to you for a few minutes this morning?
Why, certainly, Mrs. Rounds. Only you know we are not members of the Parent-Teacher Association, for our little Mary is not yet in school.
It is about Mary that I have come to see you.
Won't you come in and sit down?
Thank you. I wonder, Mrs. Open Mind, if you have heard about the summer roundup.
Roundup? Why, where I lived out in Montana before I was married, we had an annual roundup, but here in the city, why, I hardly understand.
Oh, no, not that kind of a roundup, but a roundup of little children. You're Mary among them. Let's see. Mary is to be 5 this summer and will be going to kindergarten at the Ideal School this fall, will she not?
Yes, Mrs. Rounds. We are happy to live near so fine a school. Yes, Mary. Get a cookie out of the clock in the kitchen.
Our Parent-Teacher Association is giving a tea for all the mothers of the children who will be going to school next fall. We want Mary, too, of course. We feel you will enjoy meeting other mothers in your district, and Mary will get a chance to get acquainted with the children.
Oh, yes, I guess so, Mary. You know, I think that just sounds lovely, Mrs. Rounds, and Yes, Mary, but please don't interrupt me again. I have company. Pardon me, Mrs. Rounds. Mary is a darling, but she sure takes a lot of my time. My, I'll be glad when she is in school a few hours a day. There are only boys around here for her to play with.
Oh, you needn't apologize to me, Mrs. Open Mind. I am raising 3 myself. Now, about this roundup, I know you are interested in the health of your child, and we have found that it is a wise thing before a child starts school to have him thoroughly examined by a physician, so he will be as safe as possible when he starts. It is surprising how many things have been discovered at these examinations. Some of them, had they not been discovered and corrected during the summer before the child entered school, would have meant illness and loss of
He always looked like such a healthy child. I know it. That is just what I thought. You know, I was downright mean when that Mrs. Rounds came around last spring suggesting a physical examination for my Jack. Oh, if I had only taken him. Why, he hadn't been in school a week before he was sick in bed. And when the doctor came, he said he had a terrible set of tonsils, that they should have been out last summer. And why had I let them go? Why, Mrs. Open Mind, I never dreamed he had tonsils. Now we are just carrying him along until good weather when we will have him out, but he looks terrible. My, that's too bad. You know, I've always wanted to ask you about the roundup, too, but somehow I couldn't get up my nerve. Oh, it was splendid. I met all the mothers, and we had tea and the most interesting talk on health. There, you run along to Jack, and I will run in some evening when he is asleep and tell you all about it. Oh, will you do that, Mrs. Open Mind? Make it this evening. I tell you, when the baby is old enough to go to school, I'm not going to be so cocksure about him. We'll go to the roundup before he goes to school. I'm convinced on that point. You have just heard Convinced, a drama-log depicting some of the problems in summer roundup work. Appearing in the cast were Mrs. M.O. Zinner as Mrs. Rounds, Mrs. Charles Sachs as Mrs. Open Mind, Mrs. Ted Brandon as Mrs. Old Ideas, and Charlotte Sachs as the child. The music. Oh. To explain the work, Mrs. M.L. Foss has prepared a short discussion for you. It is entitled, What the Summer Roundup of Children Means to Parents. Mrs. Foss.
Good evening, parents. Parents want their children to succeed in life. They recognize that it is within their power to do much to make this possible. There are three gifts which parents desire greatly to pass on to their children. The first of these is good health, which is the most precious thing which any individual can possess. The second is a pleasant, happy, wholesome, well-rounded home and social life, which will enable the child in later life to live happily with his fellow man. The third is a sound school education, which will permit the individual to make the most of his opportunities. If you or I were responsible for the construction of a new building, we would first make preliminary surveys and plans. By following the plans and specifications, the contractor eventually presents the building as we anticipated it should be.